As corny as it sounds, when I left, I promised Bandit, or maybe I promised myself, that I'd return for him as soon as I found a place to live where he could run free. We'd grown up on the river together, and I didn't think it was right to take him from his home unless I could give him a better one someplace else. I didn't know what kind of conditions I'd be living under on the road, but whatever they were, it was my choice to subject myself to them, not his. So I left him with family in New England.
Lima bean.
When I returned in the fall of '98, it was me who discovered he had cancer. The vet said we shouldn't wait longer than a month or so before we put him to sleep, so that he wouldn't suffer. I had received a lot of attention from people in the media for walking across the country, but I didn't feel that was what I had done. Almost every day someone would stop and offer me a ride, and though at first I declined them, eventually I decided it was a good idea, as long as it didn't interfere with my journey. That was one of the reasons I'd left, to find hope. I made it a point to tell the news people in the interviewers that I'd gotten rides from some folks, but that never seemed to get emphasized, or even make it to the finished piece when the program aired. I couldn't go back and make them do another story, but I could make what they said true another way, by doing it again. After all, that's what I'd set out to do in the first place. Now I was worried the bandit wouldn't live long enough for me to make it back in time. I considered taking him with me, but I was averaging about 35 miles a day, and that was just too much for him. So I had to make a choice. Having learnt how to live pretty simply, I couldn't justify moving back into an apartment or a house. But I did think Bandit would need some kind of roof over his head, at least for the winter. By summer, the cancer had miraculously receded. I'd gotten my old job back, and Bandit was a regular old farm dog. As fall set in again, I knew he wouldn't make it through another New England winter. The cancer hadn't gone away completely, and I still had an unfinished feeling about my journey. So, having pretty much mastered the art of living on the road, I figured that place that I'd imagined, where Bandit could run free, was the entire country. Well, run and roll free. We made it as far as Pecos, Texas. I stashed the three-wheeler in the crawl space of an abandoned gas station and hitchhiked back to San Diego and got the truck, which was parked at a friend's house we met on the beach the night before we left. I brought him back to the river for one last canoe ride. Bandit died in my lap by a warm fire that same day. He was wagging his tail.